I have come to the realization that there are some actresses that it doesn't really matter how bad their work is, I will watch it regardless. Park Min Young is one of them for me. Like, I just love her so much that there's about no work that she puts out that I haven't watched. Even if I never finish it, I will watch it just because it's her. Park Shin is another one. John Ji-yeon is another one. There are a few of them like that that it really doesn't matter what they are doing. I'm there. I'm sat. And so in this episode, I am going to be covering our newest drama, Siren's Kiss. This is a 12-episode Korean drama. It's only aired 2 episodes as of the time of this recording, and I have watched the 2 episodes. So yeah, I want to talk about it. Just first of all, this drama is very different from all our previous dramas. But if I'm being honest, this has been a long time coming in the sense that I feel like she's been changing her style and the kind of dramas she does as she grows. And so, coming from the days of City Hunter, Healer, those were more girl next door kind of feel. Whereas now I think that with not just Siren's Kiss, but Confidence Queen, Love in Contract, her style has kind of evolved and changed, right? But I think that it's still a good thing. I think that it fits her well, and I just like that she has so much range. So that's the first thing I would say, that this is definitely a drama that is very different for her. But I will say that in the past 2 years, this is not a drama that we, the audience, have not seen before. In terms of like the femme fatale kind of woman, right? Who is able to like lure men to do things for them, right? We've seen that already with Dear Ex and a few other dramas, right? So it's not really new to us. But I will say that I like every version of it and I want more. I think that femme fatale, like female leads where women are allowed to like be the seductive person, is something that is not common. So I like to see more of it. So this brings me to talk about what the drama is about. Basically, it follows Chao Sok, who is this investigator. He's an insurance investigator that all he does is investigate fraud insurance, right? So this is something that's common, I guess, in South Korea. People take out insurance on people and, when they die or something happens, depending on what the policy is for the insurance that they have signed, they have to pay it out, right? And so a lot of like insurance companies will actually have a whole department that all they do is loss and prevention, which is like, please find out if this was a fake insurance, because obviously insurance never wants to pay out. They are a for-profit business, and so their whole job is to get money in but not get it out, right? So that is basically what he does. Ansola is an art auctioneer, and she is said to be this like beautiful, stunning lady that clearly from the first 2 episodes we can tell people just like her, right? Because she's just that attractive, right? And they make mention of that. You see it in how she just interacts with people, right? But the thing is that there's something odd about her, specifically that all her previous boyfriends, fiancés, just men in her life have died. And for Chao Sok, he thinks that this is an insurance scheme somehow, right? He doesn't know how, and that's kind of like the mystery of this, that like, how is she tied to this? Is she the one like killing them to try and get the insurance money, or is there something else? So for now, like, that is basically what this drama is about. So it's a game of like, who is this person, right? And so like, what is that secret, right? Currently I would say that it's very difficult to tell what she's hiding. It's very difficult to like figure out who she is. One thing I'll say is that personally, at least up until like half of episode 2, I was sure that for sure she wasn't the one like killing them in any way, right? Just because like that's kind of how she's presented. When she's talking to Charles, so you can see that she clearly isn't about the money, right? It seems like there's something else, right? However, there was a moment where she's in our car in episode 2 where she looks at a billboard and the smirk she makes on her face kind of shattered like my view of her. So I don't actually now know if she's actually the one doing this or not, right? That's like the mystery, and I like how they are keeping me in suspense in that way. So yeah, that's what the drama is about, and so far so good. I am enjoying it so much. Park Min Young is great in this role. So is Wee Ha Jun, who is our like investigator, right? I have not yet felt the chemistry, but I'm sure it's coming. Now, let's talk about the story, right? Let's talk about like theories. I will say that for me, I think that Ansola is actually innocent. I genuinely think that she isn't the one like committing these crimes. I do think that to an extent she knows maybe who it is, or why they are doing it, but I don't think she is personally being the one to do it. And I don't think she's even like manipulative in that sense. I think people are just doing things for her on behalf of her, and it's like blowing back on her in some way. Really what my theory is that there is somebody that we've not been introduced to that is doing this or carrying this out in her name, right? It's like a stalker kind of person. Like, she does not want him to do it. He is just like a terrorizer and everything. And that's basically who is killing people in her lives that she dates, right? That's my theory. And my theory is not like perfect. It's not perfect because I would say that there's a scene where she's talking to the head of the royal auction, like the company she works for, right? The lady. And that lady is like offering her fish and everything. When she's done eating, we see a scene where she like is in the bathroom and she's like throwing up and throwing it back out, and you can see like the anger in her. Like, she really wanted to get the food that woman gave her out of her system. So I have a sense that like that woman is part of this. My theory is that like that woman has like a son or something that is obsessed with her, and he's basically the one doing all this. But obviously, like, where does insurance tie in or something like that? I don't know. This is just my theory for now, because I can't think of any other reason why they would take insurance in her name and then cancel it. So she's not able to get it. And, it just seems like she's not the kind of person that would do that, right? You can hear it in her voice when she, like, tells him that, like, you think I killed my fiancé for just a mere 200 million won. And so you get a sense that that's not what it's about. There's something else. We just don't know what it is about her, right? But I think that she just, like, draws people to her and they're willing to, like, do things in her name. I think that's just the kind of character she is and the kind of person that she is, because she's obviously, like, just stunningly beautiful and obviously an enigmatic. Like, people just want to possess her, I think, to an extent. And I think that that's probably what that is, right? And so I'm kind of curious about what the answer is, like, who is doing all this. Again, keeping in mind that there was that scene in the car where she like breaks expression, and like you kind of see her have this kind of cocky smirk on her face as she looks up in that poster. So I don't know if I am the one like overthinking, and maybe the expression was just not done right, in the sense that like maybe Park Min Young just like made a mistake and I'm like interpreting that wrongly. But that's just what came to my mind, that like it's either there's somebody that's doing this in her name, although that doesn't explain the insurance part, like I said, or she's the one doing this and she's failing, and so she keeps trying and keep trying and keep trying. That's my theory. I don't know why our colleague had to die, right? Although I feel like our colleague had to die probably because she was going to reveal the insurance like fraud, right? Again, I still don't think it's her that killed our colleague, though. Like, everything just doesn't seem like she's the one doing it, right? For example, the boating accident, unless she like tampered with his boat in advance or something, chances of him like drowning and being caught in propeller is kind of like slim. So I'm like, there has to be something more in play in this whole story, right? And so I'm curious about that, right? And I'm curious to see if the investigator is going to fall in love with her as well, because she's intriguing, right? Even me watching it, I'm intrigued. So talk less of like the investigator. He must be like super, super intrigued. And I assume that's what's going to happen. Like, he's going to fall in love with her and be kind of like a lot of our exes. Although we'll see how this plays out. Apparently this is like based on a Japanese like drama or something, right? So I'm not going to watch it. I'm not even going to try and like spoil this for myself, because I'm actually really, really curious about this story. But yeah, so far so good. I think Park Min Young is playing a great job, because she comes off as this person that is almost tired of life. And that's why my stalker theory is my stalker theory. Like, that's my theory because of how Park Min Young acts and reacts to things, right? When her fiance dies, and she's asked to come and examine his body and identify him, she doesn't look sad. And that's something like they mention, right? That she just like doesn't even break down, even though it's horrific, right? And I think that part of why she's able to like be stoic and appear that way is because she's experienced this before with her ex that died in Syria, right? So I think that it's almost like she's resigned to her fate when she's like in this moment, right? She never like breaks expression. She's just like almost numb seeming like dull and dead inside, right? And so I'm very curious where that comes from, right? The few times where we see her like have moments where she reacts is really like when she notices that her colleague has obviously been keeping tabs on her, and also when she sees the painting of the orphan in Syria, right? You see her reaction. So I don't know. I'm very like unsure of why a colleague was keeping tabs on her, what that means. Again, I still think is my stalker my stalker idea is right, like my stalker theory is right, because what if a colleague was like put in place there to like stalk her or something? Like that's what I'm thinking about, right? But yeah, I'm so curious about where this is going. There's one other character that's in this that I have not talked about, and that is the character of Kim Jong Hyun, right? He's playing Baek Joo Bum in this, and he's like this rich chaebol guy as well that is obviously intrigued by Ansala as well. So we'll see where he plays into this whole story. But so far so good. I'm enjoying it. And I look forward to more episodes. I really, really want to know where this will go, because it's very intriguing, right? And I like how Park Myung is playing this. It's very good, and it keeps you watching. So yeah, that's really all that I have to talk about in this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely rest of your week, and I'll speak to you guys again next week. Bye.